And welcome to Unity in the Community. The Unity in the Community show embraces the city versus diverse cultural communities, the music, the arts, and healthy lifestyles. And I'm pleased and honored to have this particular episode of Unity in the Community because some of my friends, at least I consider them my friends. You guys are my friends?
Yes.
Yes.
All right, you guys are my friends. I
Yes.
appreciate that. All right, because I don't want to say that I'm your friend and all of a sudden you're going to say you're not my friend. All right, but you guys are my friends. We're all friends here. Maine South Business Association is joining me. We have Katia Norford, and we also have Lorna Ellis. Lorna Ellis is the vice president, and of course, Katia Norford is the president, and she's here full of smiles. Look at you. I see you. And I appreciate you joining me here on Unity in the Community. And I'm pretty sure you guys have a lot of exciting things taking place because your focus and your concentration is in the Maine South area. And if someone says, what is Maine South, just in case they weren't familiar with Maine South in Worcester, what would you consider Maine South? How would you explain it to somebody if someone says, where's Maine South area and what is Maine South? Who knows the history of that?
Hi, Ernie again. Yes, you
Yeah.
are our friend. Thank you for
Thank you.
having us today.
Right.
And you're asking, right, who we are. So the Maine South Business Association is an alliance of local business from the Maine South commercial corridor that works to promote further economic development within the Maine South community. And together we seek to build a strong relationship among the business, the community, the members, and organization to engage the quality of life for the neighborhood. We provide guidance, we provide resources, and we networking opportunities to help our business thrive. We also strive to make our community a walkable, engageable, and vibrant neighborhood for those who live in, work in, and organize this area.
Thank you for that. Maine South has evolved over these years, right?
Mhm.
They've had their ebbs and flows and in reference to the neighborhood, in reference to the businesses, in reference to the community overall at large. Okay, so now that we're talking about Maine South, okay, now we know the Maine South Business Association. So what is the makeup of Maine South? If someone says, okay, where is it as far as location goes, and what streets and what borders? What makes Maine South?
The Maine South is a very big area, though. Most of the people think that Maine South is just the Main Street area from
true.
Chandler to the end where the 501 building are created there, but not. It goes wide. It goes to between Chandler. Is also take part of Park Avenue. It's also take part of Cambridge Street. So it's a very wide. We have a map that we can share with you later on so you can have exactly the area that we cover.
Okay, because there's a lot of development that's taken place in Maine South,
Yes.
as it has been over the years for a very, very, very long time. So with that being said, at the Maine South Association, so you are the president, of course, and this is your third, you're the third president?
Yes.
Since its inception?
I am the third president of the association.
Okay, and why is that? Why did you decide to become the president of the Maine South Business Association?
Well, I've been involved in the association since the first year that was open. It was created through mass development. They have an initiative, TDI, and the fellow Yvette Ormera was the one that decided to put all her heart in that area and kind of chase us because she was like door to door, which she was knocking doors, she was sending letters, she was always encouraging us to get together to build this association and collaborate each other, to see our values, to see how we can invest in our community. So after seeing this lady, right, and being so active in an area that she just came to, to realize that it's so valuable, so cultural. And I say, why not? Right? I am here. I live on the Maine South area. I work on the Maine South area. I have business on the Maine South area. Carlitos Barbershop, by the way, 925 Main Street. Mm-hmm. And I said, why not? If somebody else is coming from outside and is seeing right? The beauty of this neighborhood. Why not? And then I start as a communicator. Then on the second term, I was the secretary. And then the members decide to vote for me as a president. So I'm here.
Oh, congratulations.
Thank
And
you.
Lorna, being the vice president, okay, you're there to assist and operate and to suggest and to support any way you can. And why were you interested to be there as well, outside of what I just said?
Well, I am from the Main South area. I have a house right in the area. And I always pass on Main Street and wonder why we can't beautify it and we can't do much about it to get a better view passing up and down. So when I put my store at 892 Main Street, Yvette Almega came and introduced herself and told me about the Main South Business Association. And I say, why not? I'll come and check it out. And I've never left since.
Yeah. So that being said, Main South Business Association. Once again, Lorna Ellis, Vice President of the Main South Business Association, is joining me here on Unity in the Community, as well as Katia Norford, and she's the president. And I'm Ernie Floyd. You listen to Unity in the Community. So Main South's been in existence for a long time. But if you're saying that the Main South Business Association has only been in existence for like 7, 8 years,
Yes.
so who was representing that community prior to that in reference to suggesting ideas, suggesting activities and events and guiding that neighborhood and developing that neighborhood? Who was
Nobody.
Nobody.
I've never heard of anybody.
So it didn't have any direction. It
No.
was just a neighborhood.
It was just a neighborhood.
I find that pretty. So who encouraged and stepped up and said, okay, the neighborhood deserves recognition. It deserves leadership. It deserves a direction. So let's start the Main South Business Association. So who created that idea?
That was through mass development. Mass development is, see the opportunity to invest in that area, because we all know that unfortunately the Main South area is known as unforgivable, unforgettable.
One of the neighborhoods that doesn't get a lot of attention and a lot of
Thank you.
support. And
That's the unforgettable
it's-
area,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
Right.
And we know that we have a lot of up and downs, and many things need to be correct on that area.
Yeah.
But we working tirelessly to
Mhm.
change that mentality,
Mhm.
because when you walk through the Main South, it's not exactly what many people said, that is danger, that is this. Yes, like any other neighborhood, we have, our challenges,
Mhm.
but it needs help. And we know that. So mass development came and decided to invest on that area through the TDI transformative development.
And with that being said, mass development comes in and says, okay, let's look at this area. And that's basically what mass development does too. They take this area, and not just in Worcester, they work throughout the whole state. They have different sections throughout the whole state. They try to find blight neighborhoods, and they try to find communities that are underserved, and they want to come in and champion and really bring the enrichment, bring the level of that community up. And that's where you guys come in, and is tirelessly working with the businesses. So the Main South Business Association, you strictly work with the businesses, but there's also another Main South organization, and they're called the Main South
CDC.
And
yeah,
where's
I'm
it-
actually on the board of the Main South CDC, and they've been there for years. I believe around 30 plus years they've been on the neighborhood. In that area, we also have the Neighborhood Beacon Briley. That is another organization that I'm also proud to be part of it, because I also go to every single month. I go to the meetings. I also, advocate there. And it's a great opportunity on that committee to sit and share what is going on in our neighborhood and try to, do the best we can. At the Neighborhood Beacon Briley, we have presentation from our city, from the police department, fire department, what is all the departments of the city have an
Health
opportunity.
department.
Health
Health
department. Yeah. So we have a very large community service on that committee.
Mhm.
And it's nice. So they've been also there for 30 plus years. So as a matter of fact, when the association started, since we were brand new, we didn't have any experience, who take our who bring us under their wings was the Main South CDC. There we used to have our office. They were the one that were doing our grant writings for like 6 years until we became a nonprofit.
Mhm.
And yeah, they did a lot of things for the Main South Business Association.
Right. So talking about Main South, that particular area here in the city of Worcester, and it stretches around a circumference of about 5 miles, 10 miles, would you say, within a certain circumference of, we'll say, where Chandler or Pleasant and Main meet, or Mason Street. There's a number of different streets that cross through that they change by section like that. So there's a wide area.
It's a wide
It's a wide
area.
area. You have a city councilor that represents that district too as well.
Louis
Ojeda,
Ojeda,
right? And
that
then-
I ran against him. Louis,
you ran
I
against
was
him.
very close.
You were right there because speaking of that, you wanted to. Okay, so you were a business operator, resident,
Mm-hmm.
operating a business.
Mm-hmm.
Now Main South Business Association president,
Yeah.
and then you want to go to the next level. And I remember you ran for office,
Yeah.
city council for that district.
Yeah.
What are you, crazy?
Sort of. I just love my community, and
Uh-huh.
I believe if you listen, I live, I worship, I have a business. My girls go to school in the area.
Yeah.
I'm all in. So why not represent a neighborhood that I live in and that I invest so much?
Mhm.
So when I ran, I was not the president yet. I was the secretary.
Secretary.
So yeah, and I said, you know what? Many people approached me and said, Katia, why not?
Mhm.
Just we want to see you there. I like the way you like to represent our community,
Mhm.
and I say, yes, why not? Right?
Why not? Exactly. That's what Lorna said. Lorna said right now. She was right there by your side. I remember seeing that campaign take place. I remember those sessions being held at the Ionic Boys and Girls Club, right?
Yes.
Right there. And you had to speak along the committees and other candidates and stuff and represent yourself and so forth and so on. I was there. I recorded it. Good for you. So now you elevated the neighborhood, because prior to that, the neighborhood didn't have any representation, right? It was just sitting there, per se. But then Clark University started to get involved too, and they started offering some really, really special programs for the students or the children in that particular neighborhood. And does that program still sustain itself now? Because I know that they have an opportunity if you can attend a certain school in that neighborhood, which you can share with me, and they graduate, and if they decide to attend Clark University, other different things happen too as well. They can have the opportunity to do what, Lorna?
Work in the community.
Work in the community.
Work in the community. They can engage in, some of the business aspect
Mhm.
to their ability, because they have different ideas, especially the computers and stuff, and the businesses. We are laid back.
Right.
So we don't have the time to go on a computer. So we have them that they can help us with certain things and stuff.
Which makes sense.
Entrepreneurship classes
Yeah.
with them.
Well, it makes sense because of the fact that a number of their parents are some of the business owners in the area.
Yeah.
And they're maybe not as computer literate as they say, and so why not have their sons or daughters contribute to that?
Mhm.
And then Clark University also want to, it's a major institution, one of the most well-known institutions across the world here, and they're very diverse because they have a number of different people representing a number of countries that attend Clark University.
And let me tell you, sorry to interrupt you, Ernie,
Sure.
but let me tell you that we are very grateful for also Clark University, because they also have a program where we can hire admin, and it's paid by them. So the association has been very honored to have few of the admins, student admin from Clark University, and also a group of students that do workshop and help us out. So as a matter of fact, for our last gala, we have a group of students that help us tremendously to, organize the event, do the flyers and many other things that we have the necessity, and they were there to help us.
Yeah. And also, this is Clark University is not just about work too. They're also about play, and we're going to talk about it when we come back when it comes to University Park and also the new athletic field that they built associated with the Boys and Girls Club in the city of Worcester. So when we come back, we're going to continue the discussion. We'll talk about the Main South Business Association. Our president, Katia Norford, is joining us, as well as the vice president, Lorna, Ellis, and you listen to Unity in the Community. I'm Ernie Floyd on Unity 979, Worcester's Community Connection.
Hello, my name is Alvin Familia, president of the Manny 267 Foundation, and you are listening to Unity Radio 97.9 FM, Worcester Community Connection.
Unity Radio is streaming at WUTY979fm.org. We'd like to thank our listeners and supporters.
TD Bank, America's most convenient bank. TDBank.com. Harvard Pilgrim Healthcare of Worcester. HarvardPilgrim.org. And Wings Over Worcester. WingsOverWorcester.com.
Unity Radio, Worcester's Community Connection.
Recreation Worcester is a free year-round program for youth run by the City of Worcester. The program enriches this city's youth in athletics, arts, academics, and social-emotional learning activities. Food is provided for free of charge for all youth participating in the program. Learn more at the Worcester Recreation website, www.worcesterma.gov/recreation-worcester. That's www.worcesterma.gov/recreation-worcester.
Everybody's riding. What's up, it's Summer Walker, and this is Chris Warner. My name's still Chief with 2 eyes. Yo, what's poppin'? It's Kendrick Lamar, letting y'all know.
What's good? It's Metro Boomin.
What's up, it's Summer Walker.
Hey, what's good, y'all? It's your boy Leon Thomas.
Log into Club Unity every Friday and Saturday, 10 to 1 on Unity Radio, 97.9 FM. Let's go.
We got this summertime feel.
Hi, I'm Ernie Floyd, host of the Unity in the Community Show on Unity Radio 97.9. Join me and my guest as we discuss topics on embracing our diverse cultural communities, the music, the arts, and healthy lifestyles. I'm Ernie Floyd, host of the Unity in the Community Show, Wednesdays at 3 p.m. on Unity Radio 97.9, Worcester's Community Connection.
You're listening to Unity 97.9 FM, WUTY. Let's talk, Worcester.
And welcome back to Unity in the Community. I'm Ernie Floyd. The Unity in the Community Show embraces city with diverse cultural communities, the music, the arts, and healthy lifestyles. And my friends are joining me here. Katia Norford, president of the Maine South Business Association, as well as Lorna Ellis. She's the vice president of the Maine South Business Association. And we're talking about, of course, Maine South, which is a community located right here in the city of Worcester. And you two are championing the efforts and improving the community, creating some leadership, developing some leadership, starting from young people on the way up, guiding those local businesses that are there as well, giving them direction, giving them some encouragement, letting them know that, hey, you can hang in there, you can do well, and success is coming right around the corner, if not already, okay? And we talked about a university that's there, planted right there in the heart of the Maine South area, and that Maine South area is known as Clark University. They have University Park, and then also on the back end of it, where the Boys and Girls Club is, they also provide an athletic field that was supposed to be developed a while ago, which is now present. So Clark has not only just done things for the work area, but they've also provided some recreation and some play areas for Maine South as well. And so how are you guys taking advantage of that at the University Park right there on Main Street, right across the street from Clark University? Sure, Lorna. You're full of words today, aren't you?
Well, I think,
come on, girl, represent your neighborhood. Let's go.
I think they do utilize it because I'm familiar with the Boys and Girls Club, and I know they do basketball, they do soccer, and now you have the FIFA Cup going on. So I know plenty of them is excited that they got to get some leg training with the soccer. But it's a good for the community. I remember when they rebuilt that space from the whole building, and I took a walk there, and I said, I wish my son was younger so he can utilize it.
I remember a lot of area when I was Blight on the very, very beginning. Even if you want to go further back, In the further back of that field, before they developed that field, there was a warehouse back there, right? And that was empty for years.
Years.
And U-Haul is there right now. That took advantage of that. So, and then on the other side, the Beacon area, those houses were, I remember they were transported in, and they were built block by block, almost like Lego blocks. I know because I worked with Maine South CDC at one time. They hired me to take the video and pictures. So I saw the whole neighborhood get developed over there. Then they extended the field, and then they built the new Boys and Girls Club, which originally came from Ionic Ave. And shout out to Ionic Ave. They revitalized the old Boys and Girls Club. It's an art center too as well. Can't forget about those guys. And so now going forward, now there must be some new and exciting things taking place. And I know, Katia, you're chopping at the bit over there. I know you want to share some new things with me that's taking place at Maine South.
Oh, yes. I can tell you from the advantage that we've been having with Clark University is that we just took a class, right, Lorna? It was a very interesting class. I'm very grateful that we decide to make that step. And that was the Emerging Leader Program that they have with Professor Tom Harrell. And we are very grateful. It was a very interesting class. We learned a lot and we continue to learn. And I really appreciate that because I'm the type of person that said that you never end learning. You always learn from everything. So every step of the way, you have a room to learn. So, and something that nobody can take out of you is what you have in your head, right? In your
I totally
mind.
agree.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So it was very powerful. He helped us tremendously a lot. And we're looking forward to continue to to participate and engage. We have never had the opportunity to do an event on the university part, but we are looking forward to do so with them as well. And also we will try to involve our city council, Luis Ojeda. So Luis, if you are listening to us, you are off the school now. So you know that you need to work with the Maine South Business Association. We need you and we want to collaborate and do beautiful things for our community, for our youth. We have many ideas that we want to develop. You are in there too, Ernie. So
That's true.
Yep. So, collaboration, try to keep engaging our neighborhood, try to keep our youth out of the streets and help them any way we can, and especially our business owners. I would like to share out to Belen's Clark branch. She just had the ribbon cutting yesterday. So go over there, visit her. Also, we have a ribbon cutting for the new development that we invest a lot, right?
Yeah.
5 of our business decide to get one of those space. That's an 807 Main Street. We had the ribbon cutting on June 2nd, and we're gonna have there 2 restaurants. We have Arita's Kitchen, Picanada's Bakery. We have also Mandy's Traver. We have Ilki's Salon. We have the Grease Barbershop. We're gonna have Mr. Services. So it's great, to go and visit that area. We have few new businesses that we also would like, to get together, collaborate with them, to support them, because that's the whole thing of the association, right?
Mhm.
To engage each other, help each other, support each other, and beautify the Maine South area.
Yeah. And what you're saying a mouthful there in reference to the development of the Maine South area. Lorna, you also had a business there on Main Street. You transferred it since then, but you're still a plant there because you live in the Maine South
I live
area,
in the area.
in the area as well. What does that say to you in Katia, in the Maine South Business Association, when you hear grand openings, when you see new developments, when you used to drive by and see these blight areas and empty lots, and all of a sudden you see now new development and you see grand openings? What does that say for the Maine South Business Association, and what does it say for you as well?
Well, it's an uplifting direction that was created because the spaces that was there and nothing was there. So it is uplifting, and it give other areas looking at the Main South Association and saying that if we do this, they can do it. But they don't realize that you have to join together to accomplish something. And I always say that no man is an island, no man stand alone. When I go to the individual businesses and introduce myself and see how they're doing, and I will ask, why are you not a part of the Main South Association? They don't know. I said, you have to come out of your comfort zone. We work together as a group. If something happened to you, who are you going to call on? So that's when some of them, it click with them that we are just standing alone. And here is an association that they can join. So we got few new members coming in, but they don't have that much people to run their business. So they're kind of staggering, but we're still pushing forward to get them to understand that they are part of us, regardless of what.
Yeah, I really like what you just said there because of the fact that they come in, and a lot of us are tunnel focused when we come in and when we're trying to establish a business, because economically and the way these times are, it's difficult all the way around. And so your focus is if someone's determined to try to do something, there's so many hurdles you have to jump over to succeed in just starting a business, let alone trying to lease a building and try to operate your business there. But you said something that was pretty interesting, was the fact that, great, you're here, we celebrate you, we appreciate you. But and then that thinking and the foresight, like for instance, if something happens and or you need to be navigated through the community and you need something, where do you think you're gonna go? Who are you gonna call? Ghostbusters? No, you're gonna end up trying to find. You don't want to be reactionary after the fact when you're in trouble. You want to be there and be part of a mass group of people who's gonna embrace you and support you while you're there, so that then in case something does happen, they can advise you and support your business, and then everybody thrives together.
And one thing that we have, Ernie, is that every single month we have meetings. And right now we are having those meetings at the YMCA. We're very grateful for the YMCA as our hottest and colder days. They open their door for us. So we have in our monthly meeting, and we bring so many individuals, to help us out, to engage with us, to help us understand exactly how the system works. As a matter of fact, we're gonna have next Monday, because we have our monthly meeting the last Mondays of the month at 6 o'clock at the YMCA second floor. We're gonna have Mr. David Labov, our state representative. We had Luis Ojeda. We have Christian King. So we are very involved in the city. We are very involved with our community, and we bring to the table exactly what the business owner needs to thrive. So it's not just an association that paid a very minimum fee. It's just $100 to become a member, and it's not just on the Main South area. When we start receiving phone calls from outside the Main South, that we want to join your organization, we decide to open up our membership. And now we have a sponsorship membership that any other part of the city can be involved as well in the Main South area in our association. So we have room for everybody. It has different opportunities, but they definitely are welcome to join our association.
And where should they go to join your association?
You're a part of the Main South, so you're a member.
Oh, there you go. So how can they find you? Is it Main South Business Association?
They can find us Main South BA at gmail.com. They can go to our web, mainsouthbusinessassociation.org.
All right, there you go. All right. Well, you just heard of Katia Norford. She's the president of the Main South Business Association, as well as Lorna Ellis. She's the vice president, and I'm Ernie Floyd, the host of Unity and Community. We're going to come back and continue this discussion about the Main South Business Association right here on Unity 979, Worcester's Community Connection.
Hey, this is Ricky Duran, and you're listening to Unity Radio on 97.9 FM, Worcester's Community Connection.
What's up, y'all? It's your boy Q, host of the Woo 508.
here with
your girl Liza, Miss Consistency.
And it's your girl Chantel in the building. Yes, y'all go ahead and follow us everywhere. YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, the Woo 508. That's THEWOO 508.
Woo! Tell me a skin, roll me a bone, step into the groove, now you're in a zone.
Kiva Centers is a leader in peer-led support, recovery, and mental health services, creating spaces where individuals can explore healing, rediscover hope, and embrace the fullness of who they are.
Starting in Worcester, reaching all across Massachusetts, and extending to Las Cruces, New Mexico, Kiva Centers is lighting the path forward through connection, community, and recovery. Learn more at kivacenters.org. That is KIVAcenters.org.
Hi, I'm Storm, and I'm a part of the Bruce Wells Scholars Upward Bound program. The Upward Bound program is a program that helps many promising low-income, first-generation, college-bound Worcester High School students. After joining this program, I've learned many different and important life skills while making new connections and getting real-world experiences through internships and classes. If you're interested in any of these opportunities, you can find more information at www.sevenhills.org or 617-866-1293. That's www.sevenhills.org or 617-866-1293. A brighter future begins with you.
Tune into the Sustainable Life with Susan Hewlett. And together, we will find our way to a healthier, healing lifestyle by listening to empowering stories of overcoming our struggles. Join me, Susan Hewlett, on the Sustainable Life every Wednesday from 5 to 6 on Unity Radio 97.9 FM, Worcester's Community Connection. See you soon.
What's up, Central Mass? This is Angelo Gray, and we want to thank you for all your support. And you're listening to Unity Radio 97.9, Worcester's Community Connection.
And once again, welcome back to Unity in the Community. I'm Ernie Floyd. The Unity in the Community show embraces the city Worcester's diverse cultural communities, the music, the arts, and healthy lifestyles. And once again, my friends, my amigos, and in this case, amigas, is Katia Norford, president of the Maine South Business Association, as well as Lorna Ellis. She's the vice president of the Maine South Business Association. And of course, any thriving community or neighborhood cannot be thriving or being developed, or has to be included in this development, is you have to start with some way or another. Youth have to play a role in the neighborhood too as well. You cannot forget our young people, because they will be following behind the next group that's operating the group, meaning the parents and the businesses right now. And so you hope to develop those young people so that hopefully they stay here and continue on the family businesses and or decide to invest into that neighborhood to make it bigger and better. So let's talk about some of the youth efforts that's being taken place in the Maine South area. And Lorna, would you like to start with that? Because I know you're passionate about the young people when it comes to the Maine South area.
Yes, we, Katia and I, we spoke a few times, and we meet with Claremont teacher, and we want to see if we can get the youth involved with trade, a skill. Everybody's running to the computer and AI and stuff, and they lack the basic skill. Electrical work, like sewing, because I'm a dress shop, and people come in with just even to put on a button, and I'm like, really? So I think the youth is missing something. So I think as a business owner in the Maine South area, and we discussed that at some of our meetings, that we want to see if we can start a youth program with the youth, so the kids can go into different businesses and start learning. If you are interested in being a baker, there's a baker you can go to. There's a barber shop. They can learn barbering. They, different skills.
Yeah, I went to a barber shop Grammy Award event taking place in Connecticut, and it was held at.
You were there?
I was. Oh,
I was there.
You were there?
Barber shop,
Yeah.
Barber Expo.
Barber's Expo, yeah.
I was was
Yeah,
there.
it was at
How come
Mohegan
I
Sun.
need to- Yeah, how come
You
I
were
need
there.
to-
I walked around the exhibition area. I didn't see you there.
I didn't see any.
There was a lot of people from all around the country that were there, and they had the Grammys, which was like I'd never been to a Grammys before, let alone barbershop Grammys. Okay, and they had the big screen, and they had the presenters and the music and the lights. And I said, "Oh, this is what like going to a Grammys." Where were you?
You missed me because I was not at the Grammy. I was on Sunday exhibition.
The
That's
exhibition.
why.
I walked
yeah.
around there pretty good, and
Yep.
I didn't see you there, but I'm glad that you went there. It's pretty special
Yes.
on the National Tennis event. And so when it comes to the young people, Lorna, as you were mentioning earlier, getting them interested in the barbershop, getting them interested in the skills of the bakery, getting them interested in other skills of the other businesses that's in the Main South area, it's very important. Because you have to still pride in them as well and make them feel comfortable that they live in the neighborhood because they were born into the neighborhood. They didn't choose the neighborhood, right? And so you want to make them proud of the fact that you want them to stay in there and create retention, as they would say. Because a lot of our young people are going to move up in that neighborhood through this various different schools and then may attend Clark University. And I was alluding to that earlier, was the fact that Clark University was offering free tuition for those students that live in the Main South area. I'm not sure if they still continue to do that. I'm just putting it out there right now. But just the same, the young people are very important to that neighborhood. And let's list off some of the schools that's in that neighborhood because it ranges from kindergarten up to sixth grade, probably in that neighborhood of the various different schools. Or no, I'm sorry, there's a high school. Eighth grade.
No, there is.
We have it to high school. We have all kinds
Goddard
of schools
I know.
on Main Side.
And I should know that because I was over
Oh,
at, I was
yes.
at Claremont. full disclosure, a couple of years ago. Okay, I should have done that. Let's name off some. Let's shout out to some of the schools there that are educating on young people in the Main South area.
I love our schools. I'm being involved in all the Main South school. My girls used to go to Jacob Hyatt, so that's where they started. Right now they are at UPCS University Park Campus School, and we also have Claremont. We have Woodland. We have Charter School. So I'm very grateful for the school. But something that I need to shout out is to Liz. Remember, Lorna, that we met with Liz from Woodland Academy? They had a program that is called Where Math Meets Main Street. And that was very, very fun. That was very interesting how that school is deciding to involve the youth to really have hands-on, to really know how the businesses work. And we engaged together. She was invited to one of our meetings. She explained us exactly how was everything taking place and the amount of work that the kids did. Lorna and myself were invited, remember, to the academic exhibition. And we were amazed. The type of work that they were doing, kind of putting like two barbershop. I remember that they did one for Carlitos barbershop, for my barbershop, and they kind of saw the difference in a big industry into a small business. And was amazed the way that our kids are developed, the way that they need us. They need our businesses. They need our community. And it shocked my heart what one of them told me. They said, it is hard because we don't feel like we're being supported. I'm like, I want to support you. Don't feel that way. And he says, most of our youth go to find a place to work because we want to work to help our parents because they are struggling. They can pay rent. They are working 3 jobs in order to survive. And we go to see if we can get employed, but nobody hire us because we are 14, 16, 17, and we don't have that opportunity. And the Main South Business Association, Lorna and myself had talked about it, and we want to make a difference on that. We definitely want to do something remarkable for our youth. We want to help them, and we don't want them to feel like they don't have opportunity, especially in our neighborhood. And Liz is one major contact that we have that we are planning to keep collaborating. I'm also very involved with the UPCS school, so we're also going to get to them and we will do whatever it takes to get them involved and to get them out of the streets because our youth deserve better.
It's very important that you do that because, like I said, if they are out in neighborhoods and we'll say they're busy at that particular shop, they're busy in some education institution for that 2 hours or 4 hours or 6 hours, then they're not somewhere else getting into trouble and being introduced to something else. And so now when the summer season comes upon you, you have to be reinventive again, because during the school years, obviously they're busy in school and hopefully they're doing what they're supposed to do. But now school may close as the school is seasonal. So now what happens during those 6 or 8 weeks when the summer season comes in, how do you keep them occupied? With this particular program that you mentioned, and is there any other ideas too as well that's taking place of trying to keep the youth busy? Besides, well, you have the Boys and Girls Club that's there. That's one of the main youth organizations that's in that neighborhood.
Well, yesterday I got a phone call for Worcester Youth Center, and I spoke with the lady, and she said she have students who would like to learn a trade, and I volunteer that I will be taking on 2 more students, showing them how to, do some alterations, how to fit their pins, how to sew their buttons. I had an intern from, it was Doherty High School. I have an intern. She graduated now. She's in college. I had one from Burncourt, and she went on to Fitchburg for fashion design, and she did her thing. And I have 2 more interns there working now with me, learning the trade, because it's a dying trade to learn, know somebody that you can fix something, you can create something, My granddaughter is 24, and I started her at a young age, at 10 years old.
Yeah, it's amazing what you can do. And people don't realize that you can go to a fabric store, right, and roll it out. You can cut that piece, and then you can create that to be anything. And I learned that at an early age too. I went to a program in Roxbury, and they taught me how to do sewing, and I made my first pillow, and I was all excited about that. I made my first clothing, which was my first shirt, and I made pants. And it's amazing how you just take this cloth and now you just fold it and cut the cutting patterns, and how you can create it into something and add all those different accessories. But then also, we shouldn't be surprised that if you see somebody, which is interesting, which have been do a lot of shout outs, is when people who grew up in Worcester and are being successful, like recently they had the NBA draft, and they announced the individual that went to a school in the Worcester area. There's no surprise, because of individuals like yourself, Katia, and also you, Lorna, when you started with these young people at an early age, you don't know where they're going to go. You don't know what they're going to do. But then a blink of an eye, years go by, and all of a sudden you see them on national TV and being recognized. Hopefully they're throwing it up saying, hey, I came from Worcester. And I remember, who knows, one of those fashion designers might shout you out, Lorna, and say, hey, I learned my first shirt or pants or whatever through you.
And let me tell you, Ernie, we are very blessed to have Lorna, our vice president. I personally learned a lot from Lorna. It's an incredible human being. And she's going to be tomorrow at Polar Park doing the first pitch. So,
What?
Lorna.
You're going to be in Polar Park pitching too?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm not sure if I should get out the way, or we should make sure it's going to get across the pitch there, or you're going to throw it out of the park.
I don't know. Maybe just try to knock out the first person I saw and say, why didn't you guys do this long time ago?
Are you going to bowl it, make it safe, roll it on the ground to the home? No, I'm just kidding. Okay, joining us now as we're having some fun is Katia Norford. She's the president of the Maine South Business Association, as well as Lorna Ellis. She's the vice president. And I'm Ernie Floyd. You listen to Unity in the Community, and we're coming right back here on Unity 979, Worcester's Community Connection.
Unity Radio. Worcester, we've got you. Activa la radio y Unity Radio 97.9 FM te invitan a escuchar el bloque latino todos los sábados de 7 de la mañana hasta la 1 de la tarde por los 97.9 FM en la ciudad de Worcester.
Walker, and this was one of my name's still cheap lit too. It was popping, it's Kendrick Lamar, letting y'all know.
What's good? It's Metro Boomin.
What's up? It's Summer Walker.
Hey, what's good, y'all? It's your boy Leon Thomas.
Log into Club Unity every Friday and Saturday, 10 to 1 on Unity Radio, 97.9 FM. Let's go.
We got this summertime feel.
Hi, I'm Ernie Floyd, host of the Unity in the Community Show on Unity Radio 97.9. Join me and my guest as we discuss topics on embracing our diverse cultural communities, the music, the arts, and healthy lifestyles. I'm Ernie Floyd, host of the Unity in the Community Show, Wednesdays at 3 p.m. on Unity Radio 97.9, Worcester's Community Connection.
Hello, I'm Pastor Sharon Henderson of Covenant St. Andrew's United Methodist Church, 24 Hamilton Street, Worcester, Mass. We welcome you to worship with us every Sunday at 10 a.m. Let's worship together and love one another. I'm Sharon Henderson, pastor of Covenant St. Andrew's United Methodist Church, 24 Hamilton Street. We welcome you to worship with us at 10 a.m. every Sunday. Let's do it together and let's make peace.
What's up, Worcester? It's your boy AG, better known as Angelo Gray. And you're listening to Unity Radio 97.9, Worcester's Community Connection.
This is Unity in the Community, and I'm Ernie Floyd, and the Unity in the Community Show embraces City Worcester's diverse cultural communities, the music, the arts, and healthy lifestyles. And joining me now is Katia Norford. She's the president of the Maine South Business Association, as well as Lorna Ellis. She's the vice president. And we're talking about how Maine South is thriving, how it's developed over the years, and how now the property at one time was maybe not as desirable to go through that neighborhood, and maybe not as desirable to probably live there or to work there. But now that's all has changed. The properties went from hundreds of dollars to thousands of dollars. Now it's into the millions. People want to come into Maine South right now, and they did a great job starting from, we'll say, where the Berwick building, for instance, and there's another huge complex being built on the other side of the old Berwick furniture building, where the arts glass facet that's right there between, Madison Street and Main Street. Down there by the Ionic Ave Boys and Girls Club. Are you familiar with that property that's there? The developer has built that huge city of apartments right there, almost by Coney Island Hot Dog, up on the hill next to the Boys and Girls Club. There's a major property development that's taking place there. But you also mentioned the fact that there's not a lot of opportunity as far as space at Maine South, except maybe there's one space that's there, and someone's asking upwards in the millions of millions, possibly of that nature. So if you want to get into Maine South and they want to start a business, do they go through Maine South Business Association, or do they kind of just independently just walk the streets on their own and have a representative that involves real estate?
Not necessarily through the Maine South Business Association. We are building those, connections and all that, but we need to realize that on the Maine South, there are a lot of business owners, right? But it's also property owners that they most of the time don't even live in the area, so they just rent. So we have that unfortunate for many business, that their landlords unfortunately don't invest on their property. And that was one of the reasons why we collaborate with mass development, with the city, with the Maine South CDC, to develop the development that we just created on the 807, because of the same fact that unfortunately the landlords are not invested on the property. And many of our businesses are in a will list. And that's terrible, because you don't have kind of a certain future that you're going to be there on the amount of time that you want to be there with your business, So as a matter of fact, one of my experience right now, I'm being on night 25 for 18 years, and it's kind of even funny how landlords are not honoring the longevity that businesses have there to put you in a will list, to don't honor what you respectfully had set up with them. And that's sad. That's sad because after you invest so much, having the, seeing that you maybe be out of business just because they have a better offer, it's not right. So I really looking forward to work with our legislators and our, our representative to create laws, to create venues for our businesses to be
Protection.
more, to have more equity, to have more generational wealth, and it's beautiful how we help to create those developments right now. And we have a satisfaction that all those six businesses that take place on one of those units will not suffer, and will not have the headache to say tomorrow they can raise my rent ridiculous, like happened to Aritas, that she has to move from her previous location because they just raised her rent with no control whatsoever, because we understand that landlords need to create wealth as well, but we also need to be mindful, that you need to, if you've been there for so long, you need to honor those business that had invest in your property as well.
Yeah. You're in a catch-22, as they say, because of the fact that when Maine South was Maine South back in the day, 25, 30 years ago, for whatever reason, the community has evolved from various different ethnic groups, because at one time it was a strong Jewish community that was there at one time. And then the community has rolled over to other different ethnic groups over the years. But then at the same time, you're saying, correct me if I'm wrong, when Maine South was in its early stages in some instances, some people just gave you the property as is, and it was up to you to make it up and clean it up and develop it into your own, because maybe the landlord didn't have the property at the time. And at the same time, Maine South was probably something where it is what it is, and if you want to improve it, go ahead. And all right, so now you've improved it, you maintained it, you sustained it. Years later, now all of a sudden the property value is up. And then now that person who wasn't really caring for the property, but said, hey, just take it anyways and get a moderate rent. Now, obviously, the rents have increased. Now the property is of a lot of value. So you're saying, where's the loyalty at for that landlord who has that tenant that's been there for years, who's maintained it to allow you to have that wealth? But then also you have another argument, whereas now they're trying to have affordable rent and try to have stabilized rent. And I don't know how you can do stabilized rent. What you should do is fight and argue for stabilized utilities, stabilize expenses, because expenses is what's driving the rents. So for instance, when the landlord has a certain expense, and as far as that utility goes, and if the utilities keep continuing to go up, someone has to pay for that. Yeah. So if you modern stabilize the expenses, then I think you might have some help in reference to stabilizing the rent, but someone has to pay for it. So if you take any math equation, $100 the cost to do something, but then all of a sudden that $100 turn into $1.25, $1.50, $75, $200, as that starts to go up, that landlord is passing that cost onto the renter, or the person that's operating a business as well. And so then you have to keep up as a tenant with your work to keep up the pace with that expense as well, maintain that rent. Then as a business, you have to maintain that. It's like, and so what do you do? So now they're trying to say stabilize the rents. Okay, you make feel stabilized rent. Then who's going to pay for those other incremental expenses that keeps increasing in time? And so it's a big war out there when it comes to economics.
Really,
and that's
big.
that's the ugly side of not owning and renting, whether you have the business renting or leasing, or whether you are a tenant and you're renting or leasing.
What I can say is at the end of the day, the one that are suffering the burden are the business owners at the end of the day, because we need to renovate on our own, even though it's not our own property. We need to deal with raising rents. We need to deal with the utility bills that are crazy.
Mm-hmm.
You never know if you're going to have.
So what's a fair rent in a sense, which you can't really determine unless you're in that situation? What's a fair rent to meet so that everyone's happy? That tenant is happy, the landlord's happy, or unless that landlord is raising it 5 times or 10
That's
times.
the thing.
But instead, where they can afford to raise it, we'll say 1.5 times, maybe 2 times, just to stabilize, just to be fair. Do you have to go 5 and 10 times on raising everything? And as you said, things are at will. So that means you're saying that if somebody comes by with a better offer, right? Okay, so they're going to rid that person that's been there, who's stabilized it, to allow you to have that wealth. You're going to allow that person to lose it to allow somebody else to come in. So where's the loyalty in that? That's just not. That's everywhere. Okay?
That's what is happening. That's what is happening.
That's the ugly side of it, like that too.
Yep.
So that's where the legislators come in, and that's where you guys, which is a nice opportunity for them to join the Maine South Businesses Association monthly, because you do have those representatives from the state, and you have your city councilor and any school committee member and so forth. So on. Meet them face to face in those once a month meetings, which are what the last Monday of the month. You said.
The last Monday of every month at the YMCA second floor, 6 o'clock.
Yeah, and YMCA is located where? On Main Street?
Main Street.
Okay, Main Street, there. Well, Lorna Ellis is joining me, as well as Katia Norford, the president and vice president of the Maine South Business Association. So we have this conversation. And so once again, throw it out again for all the Maine South representatives that's out there. How can you want to encourage them to join the Maine South Business Association? Because everyone is all in this together, and you can't do it by yourself. So how can they join the Maine South Business Association?
We just need to remember that we are stronger together. And if we don't get together, we're not going to become stronger. So join us, Maine South Business Association.org, or just hit up an email, mainsouthba@gmail.com, or just call us. My phone number is 508-304-4932. And we were happy to guide you, to share with you what we are doing and everything.
Well, that could be your best membership fee you can ever have, right? You're going to be spending a lot of money, all kinds of ways, trying to sustain your families, trying to sustain your business, and just trying to stay alive, in general. But that fee coming in with you guys, like you said, we're stronger together versus individually.
It is.
Yes.
Well, Lorna Ellis, thank you for joining me. It's always good to see you. Vice President of the Maine South Business Association. We're not going to be strangers. Obviously, Private Production is going to be involved with the Maine South Business Association. We're going to be members as well. I got to pay my fee.
Yes.
Okay, of course. You're looking at me like, okay.
A very affordable fee.
Affordable fee. And Katia Norford, she's the president as well of Maine South Business Association. Ladies, thank you for joining me. Okay, let's make sure Maine South continues to thrive, and I know it will, thanks to the both of you. I'm Ernie Floyd. You've been listening to Unity in the Community on Unity 979, Worcester's Community Connection.